What's that say?
It says Kramer.
Kramer. Who's that?
That's us.
That's right. Want to see?
Yeah.
Ta-da!
Wow!
Scenes from Kramer versus Kramer, Apocalypse Now, and all that jazz. The three movies with the most Oscar nominations this year, 26 Academy Award nominations among those three pictures, and the Academy Awards are the subject this time on Sneak Previews. Across the aisle from me, Roger Ebert, film critic of the Chicago Sun-Times.
And this is Gene Siskel, film critic of the Chicago Tribune. Well, here we go again with our annual Academy Awards program, the Sneak Preview survey of the nominees in each of the top 5 categories for Best Picture, for Best Actor and Actress, and for Best Supporting Actor and Actress. We're going to show you all the nominees, speculate on who the winners might be, and also take a look at scenes from the 3 nominees for Best Animation. But first, Gene starts with the nominations for Best Actress.
As the movies continue to pay more and more attention to women, it's interesting to note that the performances nominated in the Best Actress category have been getting better and better each year. The 5 nominated roles this year all have one thing in common. They're about very strong women, all faced with problems, and virtually all of the women are able to solve their problems. Let's take a look at the nominees for Best Actress, beginning with a 2-time Oscar winner.
Was Jack O'Dell emotionally disturbed? Was he a disturbed man? Did he have reason tonight to be disturbed?
I don't know.
Mr. Gibson said he was drinking. Is it true?
Jane Fonda, a TV reporter hot on the trail of a nuclear accident cover-up in the China Syndrome.
Look, in the old days, I'd have already been calling my girlfriends to tell them about you. So I don't feel bad.
Jill Clayburgh, recently divorced and a little bit scared of getting involved again in starting over.
Honey Webster? Honey Webster, I remember you.
Sally Field, a simple Southern girl transformed into a feisty labor organizer in Norma Ray.
I have terrific animal instincts. I know when my life is about to be threatened.
Marsha Mason, threatened because her husband James Caan can't forget his first wife in Chapter 2. And the last nominee, Bette Midler, a rock singer with a consuming need to be loved and admired in The Rose. Now, at this point, I feel like I should ask for the envelope, but all we can do on this show is make guesses about the likely winner, so let's consider their chances one by one. First, Jane Fonda. Well, to me, I think she had a minor role in the China Syndrome. The accident was more important. Jill Clayburgh, merely pleasant, I think, in her performance in Starting Over. Marsha Mason, just one nice 5-minute screaming scene in Chapter 2. Bette Midler, don't count her out entirely. She did the most work of any of these actresses, singing and acting in her first screen performance. But the sentiment in Hollywood seems to be clearly for Sally Field, the young actress who has sure come a long way since her days as the flying nun on TV in the 60s. I think Academy voters really like her spunk in person and the kind of spunk she displays in this scene from Norma Ray, where she argues with her husband, Beau Bridges, about her responsibilities as a wife and as a union organizer.
I got 100 calls to make tonight.
Is that going on our phone bill?
You can take it out of my paycheck, right?
That milk is sour.
I didn't have a chance to get to the market.
Well, you didn't have the chance to get to the market, did you? And you didn't get to the washing, and you didn't get to the kids, and you didn't get to me.
Is that right?
That's right, that's right. Damn TV dinners, kids going around in dirty jeans. I'm going around, without! Altogether!
You want cookies? You got cookies.
You got laundry. You want ironing? You got ironing.
Sally Field, who looks like she's the overwhelming favorite among Academy voters, I think just like the public, they like seeing this little actress act like a big, strong woman.
Right.
If there is a dark horse, it's the woman who I would vote for if I had a vote, and I don't have one. The vote would go to Bette Midler, because I think she just had more to do in that role, and she did it marvelous, singing and acting.
I think we're in agreement about Field and about Midler. I think Sally Field is the front runner, and that Bette Midler might have a real good chance. This was her first acting performance in a movie. She not only acts, she sings, but not as Bette Midler. She sings as the character, so she's acting at all times, and it's a heck of a performance. And you know, Sally Field has been the front runner in this category for a long time, ever since way last May at the Cannes Film Festival. She won the Best Actress Award for this same performance, which is a great performance, but she's been the front runner for months and months, and maybe it's almost like presidential politics. When you're the front runner for so long, well, the front runner stumbles. Maybe voters, when they finally get to their ballots, are going to have had Sally Field on the mind for so long that they'll just vote for Bette Midler to break the monotony. I don't know. I still think probably that Sally Field is the front runner and the one that I would predict for Best Actress. And they say that getting an Oscar for Best Actor guarantees the winner at least $1 million salary for his next picture, which would be a big deal if most of this year's nominees weren't already in the upper income tax brackets. This is usually a category that's really hard to predict. The competition is fierce and close. But this year, there is one clear front runner. But before we single him out, let's look at all 5 nominees for Best Actor.
There may be a defect in the power support structure.
I got
Now, wait a minute, listen.
I got my orders.
There was a vibration.
Jack Lemmon as a safety-conscious nuclear engineer in The China Syndrome.
Winning is everything.
Al Pacino as an overworked and hassled criminal lawyer fighting the system in And Justice for All.
In a garden, growth has its season.
Peter Sellers as a simple gardener whose innocent statements are taken as brilliant insights in Being There.
I don't care what the other mothers do, Billy. We made a deal.
Dustin Hoffman as a father left to raise a son all by himself in Kramer versus Kramer.
I feel like I could die. Bye-bye your life, goodbye. Bye-bye my life, goodbye.
And Roy Scheider is a self-destructive Broadway director in the very serious musical All That Jazz. Now, my usual procedure when I try to predict the Oscar winners is to use a process of elimination, just like Jean did for the Best Actress. It's really very simple. If you can figure out why 4 of the nominees can't win, then the 5th nominee obviously becomes the favorite. It's a very subtle process. This year, though, there's overwhelming agreement in Hollywood and all through the movie industry that the front runner by a mile is Dustin Hoffman for Kramer versus Kramer, and Hoffman is also my prediction, too. Here he is with young Justin Henry trying to figure out how to make breakfast.
When is Mommy coming back?
Soon, very soon. But come on now. You and I are going to have some breakfast, okay? Just you and me. Okay, what do you want for breakfast?
Some French toast.
French toast. You want the French toast you got. Let's put up a little water for Daddy and some coffee. And we got how many eggs? 2 for you and 2 for me.
Yep.
We got milk. We got butter. We got $5. I got $5 here. You sit here. Okay, and you'll be my #1 helper. Okay, now watch this. One-handed. Here we go. Did you know that all the best chefs are men? I bet you didn't know that, did you? Isn't this terrific? This is terrific. We got to do this more often.
You got some shell in there.
They have a great rapport all the way through that film. And everything I hear indicates Dustin Hoffman will win the Oscar for Best Actor. And look at the earlier awards he's won. He won the New York Film Critics, the Los Angeles Film Critics, National Society of Film Critics, the Golden Globe Award. All of those preliminary awards, I think he's going to march right on through and take the Academy Award.
There seems to be a real steamroller for Dustin Hoffman, and if he gets the award for this performance, I think it'll really be an award for his entire distinguished career. He's been great since the late 60s, all throughout the 70s, and I think Oscar voters are really going to say this time, we give it to you for your whole career as well as this fine performance, and that'll be recompense for the time that he got rooked back in 1969, I think, for Ratso Rizzo, Midnight Cowboy, a great performance, but then the Academy gave another actor a career award, John Wayne in True Grit. So Hoffman gets it now for this performance and for the career.
And I think he can be very proud of this performance.
Yes.
It's a great performance, and he really runs the range of emotions from silence through tenderness all the way through to pure rage and anger. It's perfectly modulated. He's right on the money in every scene. It's a real good performance. So not only do I predict that he's going to win for Kramer versus Kramer, but I would also prefer that, too.
I'm right with you. Now, our next category. There's a tremendous range of performances in the supporting actor category, also a tremendous range of ages. The youngest nominee, 8 years old. The oldest, 79. There are 2 veteran actors on the list and 3 younger performers, so you could say that this category shapes up into a battle between young and old. Let's take a look at the Best Supporting Actor nominees, beginning with one of Hollywood's legendary performers.
That black is a desert horse. He's fast, all right. Sure he's fast. He hasn't got any papers. Fast or not, I don't think they'd ever let him run.
The first nominee, Mickey Rooney, as an old horse trainer who comes out of retirement in the Black Stallion.
Are you and Mom ever going to get remarried?
Justin Henry in Kramer versus Kramer. At age 8, Henry's the youngest nominee in Academy history.
I think what our insightful young friend is saying is that we welcome the inevitable seasons of nature.
Melvin Douglas, the 79-year-old character actor playing a presidential advisor in Being There.
I think anybody who talks about themselves in the third person is Looney Tunes.
Frederick Forrest, Bette Midler's chauffeur who becomes her lover in The Rose.
We're coming low out of the rising sun, and about a mile out we'll put on the music. Music? Yeah, I use Wagner. It scares the hell out of the slopes. My boys love it.
And the final nominee, Robert Duvall, the gung-ho Army colonel who says he loves the smell of napalm in Apocalypse Now. As for the likely winner, I think we can rule out that little boy, Justin Henry, and also Frederick Forrest. Both are newcomers, and these are their first nominations. Mickey Rooney, to me, only a sentimental choice. As for Melvin Douglas, I wouldn't be surprised if he won. He's 79, he's been in the hospital recently, and he was excellent in Being There. But the favorite seems to be Robert Duvall, a fine actor who's given so many strong performances during the 70s. He certainly was the flashiest, most entertaining character in Apocalypse Now, playing a colonel who'd rather surf than fight.
This LZ's still pretty hot, sir. Maybe you ought to surf somewhere else. What do you know about surfing, Major? You're from New Jersey. Come here. Change. You mean right now, sir? I want to see how rideable that stuff is. Go change. It's still pretty hairy out there, sir. You want to surf, soldier? Yes, sir. That's good, son, because you either surf or fight. That's clear. Now get going. I'll come aboard. And bring a board for Lance. Tell the boat gets here. Lance, I'll bet you can't wait to get out there. What? See how they break both ways? One guy can break right, one left simultaneous. What do you think of that? Bill, I think we gotta wait for the tide to come up. Hey, Lance, come here. Look, look. The tide doesn't come in for 6 hours. You want to wait here for 6 hours?
Robert Duvall, just great there. He really, this is a very big motion picture, but when he's on the screen, he just takes over the whole screen. He's marvelous there. If he wins, I think it'll also be a career award, just like Dustin Hoffman.
Right.
He's been so great in the 70s. In both Godfather pictures, didn't win an award. He might have for those. Also Network, a terrific actor, a career award. If there's a dark horse, Melvin Douglas.
Right.
And I want to make it clear that I think that he'll, if he wins, not win just because he's sick or not feeling well, but because he did give some excellent performances in this year. Joe Tynan, and also in Being There, an excellent actor.
Once again, Gene, we're in complete agreement. I think Melvin Douglas is the dark horse, and he was really so good reacting to Peter Sellers in Being There, because Sellers is so simple, and he has to kind of get the right note and relationship to that, or it doesn't work. And then Robert Duvall, no matter what you thought about Apocalypse Now, a lot of people didn't like it nearly as much as I did. Still, the sequence that he's in, standing there on the beach with his cavalry hat on, the bombs bursting all around him, he doesn't care. He sees a great wave that's perfect for surfing.
Right.
That's a tremendous performance, and also the Academy might tend to vote for Duvall because they'll think, well, Apocalypse Now ought to get something. So I'd agree with you. Melvin Douglas is the dark horse, but I'm predicting in this category, Robert Duvall is the winner. And in the category of Best Supporting Actress, it contains some really interesting performances this year, and all 5 are of characters playing traditional female roles. We have 3 wives, a girlfriend, and that old movie Standby, the heroine's best friend. But in 1979, those roles were a lot more complex than they used to be. Jane Alexander is the friend asked to testify in the child custody fight in Kramer versus Kramer. She discovers that her loyalties are divided.
You said you were going to give them a little pep talk?
Barbara Berry as the lovable mother of a small-town bicycle racing champion in Breaking Away.
I don't know, maybe people weren't meant to have one deep relationship. Maybe we're meant meant to have, you know, a series of relationships with different lengths. I mean, that kind of thing's gone out of date.
Mariel Hemingway plays Woody Allen's teenage girlfriend in Manhattan. Sometimes she seemed more mature than Woody did.
Better than ever. This time forever.
Candace Bergen is Burt Reynolds' ex-wife, trying to win him back with a song and starting over.
I never knew who I was. And that's why I had to go away.
And Meryl Streep is a woman who walks out on her husband and child in Kramer versus Kramer. And once again, my prediction is a pretty easy choice. I think it's going to be a Kramer versus Kramer year, and even though Kramer co-star Jane Alexander is nominated in the same category and will probably get some of the votes, my favorite for Best Supporting Actress is definitely Meryl Streep. And here she is explaining to her husband, Dustin Hoffman, why she left him and what she did to put her life in order.
What?
I have a whole speech.
No, go ahead.
I don't know. All my life, I've felt like somebody's wife or somebody's mother or somebody's daughter. Even all the time we were together, I never knew who I was. And that's why I had to go away. And in California, I think I found myself. And I got myself a job. I got myself a therapist, a really good one. And I feel better about myself than I ever have in my whole life. And I've learned a great deal about myself.
Such as? No, I'm really, I'd really like to know what you learned.
Well, I've learned that I love my little boy. And that I'm capable of taking care of him.
What do you mean?
I want my son.
You can't have him.
That's really a great scene. That's
Yes.
after she comes back after the whole middle part of the movie where he was raising the kid by himself. She's been in so many good movies in the last couple of years. She was in The Deer Hunter and The Seduction of Joe Tynan. She had a small role in Manhattan.
Yeah.
I think the Oscar voters are going to think of all of those performances and give her the Academy Award for Kramer versus Kramer, and I think she deserves it.
Well, you're absolutely right. And the other thing about Meryl Streep that she has going for herself in this competition, and it happens quite often in the supporting category, she has a much bigger role than the other people that she's competing against, especially in effect, if not screen time.
Right.
When we think of the picture, we think of Dustin Hoffman, we think of her, we think of their roles almost as equal size, even though she isn't on screen as much. So she has that going for her as well as a great performance.
So in this category, I don't even have a dark horse. I'm just predicting Meryl Streep, period. And now let's move on to the most important category, the one that reflects better than any other what direction Hollywood is headed in from year to year, the Academy Award for Best Picture. And let's review the 5 nominees, starting with Norma Ray, the drama about a courageous Southern textile worker played by Sally Field. In this scene, down by the old swimming hole, Field talks about the differences between her life and the life of Ron Liebman, a labor union organizer who's come down from New York City.
Reuben, what would you be doing on a day like this at home?
Play some handball at the Y. Go see Aida at the Met. Eat Chinese. Play a little poker. Hit the sack.
I've been 2 places in my life. I've been to Henleyville, been on down to Piston.
Oh, you'd love New York. You would. Wow. Super town. Most beautiful women in the world. Best food. Opera. Theater. Ballet.
Reuben, you're homesick.
Good.
A nice relationship, but I don't think that Norma Ray has much of a chance of winning. Also nominated as Best Picture, Breaking Away, a thoroughly likable story about young working-class kids growing up in Bloomington, Indiana. The film was very wise about teenagers and about family relationships. In this scene, Paul Dooley tells his son and a young friend about a new addition to the family.
Well, I go back to work tomorrow. You mean you're not going to come and see us race?
Well, he thought he might bring you bad luck if he comes.
Well, I just have work to do, that's all. Besides, there might be another metabolism to feed around here.
You mean we might be a father?
No, I might be a father, and your mom might be a mother, and you might be a brother. See, that way I keep it all in the family.
Wow. Hey, I didn't think people your age...
The next word may be your last, kid.
You must be very happy, Mr. Scholler.
course I must. Do I have any choice?
I love Paul Dilley's performance there. Breaking Away is a movie that nearly everybody seemed to agree about. If you saw it, you liked it. But the next nominee for Best Picture inspired a lot of controversy. Apocalypse Now centered around a boat journey on a secret mission upriver from Vietnam into the jungles of Cambodia, and Martin Sheen plays an Army captain with classified instructions.
My orders say I'm not supposed to know where I'm taking this boat, so I don't. But one look at you and I know it's going to be hot, wherever it is.
We're going upriver about 75 clicks above the Dolong Bridge.
That's Cambodia, Captain.
That's classified. We're not supposed to be in Cambodia, but that's where I'm going. You just get me close to my destination and I'll cut you and the crew loose.
All right, Captain.
Another controversial choice is Best Picture, All That Jazz, the story of a Broadway and film director who tries too hard to cram everything into his life, and he pays for it with a heart attack. The director, played by Roy Scheider, is most in control of his life when he's rehearsing his dancers for a new show.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Stop smiling. Lay back. Lay back. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Candy Casey, very good. You're going to do it again, Victoria. Gary, Danny, let's go. Stop smiling. It's not the high school play. Count.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Hold it. Stand on your right foot. Point your left toe. Drop that shoulder. Now, that's not too hard, is it?
All That Jazz was a surprise finisher in the Oscar sweepstakes with 9 nominations, the same number as Kramer versus Kramer. And the 5th nominee is Kramer versus Kramer. Now, almost everybody seems to agree this is going to win, and that's my prediction, too. I think Kramer versus Kramer will be voted the year's Best Picture. And in this scene from the beginning of the movie, Meryl Streep tells Dustin Hoffman that she's leaving.
Hi, I forgot my keys. I just got to call the office before they go. Joe, you're going to be real proud of me. I got good news.
Ted.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me just do this. You know Jack Edrich over in accounting? He committed suicide. Yeah, hi. Ted Kramer. Listen, I got to get those photos from the retoucher by tomorrow morning, okay?
I'm leaving you.
Honey, please. I can't hear. What? Okay, you too. Thanks a lot. See you tomorrow. You guys eat?
Ted, I'm leaving you. Ted. Keys. Here are my keys.
Here's my American Express card. Here's my Bloomingdale's credit card. Here's my checkbook. I've taken $2,000 out of our savings account because that's what I had in the bank when we first got married.
Was this some kind of joke? Well, I'm sorry that I was late, but I was busy making a living, all right? Come on, okay? Can we stop now?
So, that's everything.
Gene, I've said it before, and I guess all we can do is say it again. It does look like it's going to be a Kramer versus Kramer year, and actually, I haven't really heard anyone seriously predict that any of the other pictures are going to win. I don't think there are any dark horses.
You know, I can think of 3 reasons why it's going to be a Kramer versus Kramer year. Number one, it's a good picture, and sometimes when you get involved in all the machinations, you forget the most obvious fact. It's a very fine picture. Number 2, it came out in December, and that's always very helpful for the Oscars. For example, China Syndrome came out in March or something like that. Forgotten at Oscar time.
Kramer is much fresher in people's imaginations.
Much fresher in people's minds, coming out in December. And number 3, it's a serious picture. And every year, it seems, when Hollywood wants to choose a best picture, a picture that represents its best efforts, they always try to pick something serious, which perpetrates the notion that Hollywood is really making great art. And so I think that Kramer benefits from all 3 of those things.
When you talk about great art, of course, my bias is in favor of Apocalypse Now. I think that was far and away a better picture than Kramer versus Kramer, and that 10 or 20 years from now, Apocalypse will be remembered and studied, where Kramer versus Kramer will be seen as a respectable, intelligent Hollywood domestic drama, but nothing terrific.
You know, I don't think that Apocalypse has a chance, nor are you suggesting it does. And I think that maybe it's because Vietnam was last year, Coming Home, Deer Hunter. One cause for a year, you know?
This year it's child custody, you know? It's a funny thing, but usually at this time of year, film critics like ourselves and predictors of the Oscars are always at each other's necks, great violent arguments and so forth. This year, we've gone through this entire show really with no basic disagreement. The favorites, we could be totally wrong on April the 14th. We could be proven wrong, but the favorites seem to be in each category really much more clear this year than ever before.
We won't be wrong, and here's one more prediction.
Okay.
It's going to be the least exciting and surprising Oscar show in a long time, because I think we got everyone right.
Okay.
So much for the top 5 Oscar categories. But before we end this special Academy Award show, we've got a sneak previews exclusive, the nominees for the Best Animated Short Film. This year, there are 3 cartoons nominated for an Oscar. Here's a brief look at each of them.
Hello.
Did you advertise for a charming companion, old man? Yes, I did. Look no further. Oh, good. My eyes are so old that they get tired when I look further. I am the very one you have been searching for. Many people think that I am a wolf. That, of course, is nonsense. Utter nonsense. Of course. As a matter of fact, I happen to be a dog. Yes, a German Shepherd, to be exact. Is that a fact? I was in Switzerland during the war.
Of the 3 films, I like Dream Doll, the one we saw, the very first one, about a lonely old man finding some happiness finally in his life. Dream Doll I like the best. How about you?
Gene, I agree with you. This is unprecedented on Sneak Previews. We have agreed on everything for the entire show. I can't figure it out. But that's it for our Academy Award predictions. And right or wrong, we both think Kramer versus Kramer is going to walk away with several of the top Oscars. And we'll be back next time with reviews of 5 new movies in town. Until then, we'll see you at the Oscars.
Funding for Sneak Previews was provided by this station and by other public television stations.